About an hour later, he calls me, Chris does, and he says, Austin, are you joking right now? Did you really send me to this sale? And I'm like, whoa, 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 what do you mean? And he's like, they're not letting me leave. What do you mean they're not letting you leave? They locked the door and they said they're not leaving until you come here and talk to them.
All right, cool. I'm Frank Pagano. I'm one of the co-founders of VisiPay.
My name is Joe Wagner. I've been in the business for about 13 years doing payment processing.
And I'm Austin McNabb, co-founder here at VisiPay. Been in the business for what, 18, 19 years. So just glad to be next to these two fellows, spitting some game and letting you motherfuckers know what's up.
It's hard for me to identify just one, but now looking back and in the industry that we're in, those are shitty sales.
So you had tons of shitty sales.
I've had a ton of shitty sales, yes.
I remember getting a call. It was a window and siding company, actually. I sold them initially. I remember back in the Hypercom T7P friction, thermal paper, not even thermal paper, friction paper. I remember this, right? I sold this guy, window and siding guy, actually a pretty cool guy initially. Sold him. All good to go, got him active, the whole works. Fucking 6 months later, the guy calls in. And he calls in, and I had a little office back in the day, and he said, hey, I want to open another sale, come on over. So I send one of my new guys to the sale because I wanted to help him out to get a sale and kind of get him motivated. About an hour later, he calls me, Chris does, and he says, Austin, are you joking right now? Did you really send me to the sale? And I'm like, whoa, 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 what do you mean? And he's like, they're not letting me leave. What do you mean they're not letting you leave? They locked the door and they said they're not leaving until you come here and talk to them. I look around the office. I look for the biggest, like 2 or 3 guys next to me. I have no clue what I'm walking into, but I know that one of our guys is there. So I have 2 guys come with me. So we walk in the door. We walk in. Once we walk in the door, they get us to the waiting area. Right out when I walk out from the waiting area, this guy, dude, he's got to be 300 pounds, 6'8". He walks behind us and locks the door behind us. The front door. So there's no leaving. So he's like, hey, the boss wants to talk to you in the back. So I go to the back to talk to the boss, which is the guy I signed up initially, and he says, dude, you're fucking with my money. I'm like, whoa, wait a second, what do you mean I'm fucking with your money? He's like, you guys are holding like $2,000 of my money. I want my money. I ran a credit card, I want my money. And I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. I've never heard of this, you never called me on it, I didn't get called from the company that I'm with. I'm like, I don't want to die today. I mean, this sucks, They got on the phone with the owner of the company. They talked to the owner that I'm dealing with. The owner of the company that I just called makes it 15 times worse. They're going at it, yelling back and forth, blah, 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 blah. And the owner of the company that, that I was working for calls me and says, Austin, I'm going to call the police. He's not going to let you go. I'm like, what? What do you mean they're going to let me go? And by the way, he was with another company before me. It sucks. So the cops come. First thing the Urbandale PD officer says to the owner that I'm dealing with, hey, how's Johnny with baseball? Well, they know each other. They're fucking friends. And he's like, you don't want to cause problems with him. You're good, right? You don't press charges. You're good, right? He's an old friend of mine. He says he took money from him. Sure as shit, after I looked into it with this guy, after the cops came, etc., he used the old company's terminal. He didn't even use our terminal. He didn't even use our terminal. It was a whole different company he was pissed at. Not even me. It was the company that signed him up with a phone, for Christ's sake. It wasn't even me. And then, the guy afterwards, after a week later, after we figured it all out, he was apologetic, whatever. It was definitely the worst situation I've ever been in the industry itself. And I was young, and I was 19 years old probably at the time. Like I was scared to death. But needless to say, there was no second sale. And it was not my official fault. But I did have the first sale though, so that counts.
And you never went back.
I never talked to him again. Nope, I'm done. I've never picked up the phone again. I was over it. I will not get locked into a fucking building again.